Welcome back. Today I just want to like get ready with you guys and do a Valentine's Day makeup. I'm gonna put in my contacts real quick. I don't really know, again, like with all my looks, I don't really know like where I'm going with this, but we'll see. I want to do like something brown. Sorry, I'm like still coughing. The pollution was really bad in Korea, so I think I'm like, my throat is burning from the so forgive me if I cough a lot. I use my Apu MADECASSOSIDE sun cream. I've talked about this a lot. I picked some up in Korea actually because I really like it. This is the best cream, sun cream in terms of like formulation and what it does. It's just really nice. For foundation, I'm gonna go in with my WOWDER Tension Pack, and it's a very interesting cushion type thing where like the thing is just, the pack is just suspended in there. And for day to day, I really don't use like a pore filling primer. I find that it just makes my skin feel not super nice. I only use it when there's like events and I'm taking like a lot of photos, like for photo shoots. The coverage for this cushion is like quite amazing, and I just like to use a sponge because it's easier to clean than the air puffs. I think the air puffs are like kind of like a hassle to clean, and then it makes me not want to wear foundation. Yeah. Recently there was an openly gay K-pop idol that debuted. I talked about it with Joan. Her name is Holland. I talked about it with Joan and briefly in our Q&A on my channel. That was before the video came out, and then the video came out 2 weeks ago, and then I was like, wow, this is kind of weird, as in like so weird to see like an openly gay relationship in the format that I've been watching for so long, like K-pop, and even like not just K-pop, but I think like Asian music videos in general. I don't really see it, and especially not pop media like K-dramas. Like I don't think I've heard of openly gay relationship type of idol. It's kind of amazing and kind of surprising actually. I think it's pretty great. I'm really happy that it happened. The debut is kind of tame, like the song itself. I feel like they kind of tamed it down, just so like it would be more palatable for people. And I think it's a smart, it's a smart idea because, you know, being gay and stuff, it is. If it's not done before, I find that, you know, some people might take kind of shock to it, especially in like a conservative Asian country. Okay, so I'm using the Costars Concealers. These are formulated with Centella, so they're good for blemishes, and I find the coverage is quite amazing. It just makes my skin look so flawless. If you like a dewy look, you don't have to set it, but I want to be matte today. I'm using my water powder and just like dusting everything and just setting everything in place. And then for daily stuff, I don't really try to use an eye primer, and I find that like powder is good enough for the eyeshadows to grip, so definitely dust powder around it if you want your eyeshadows to blend smoother. Like in the Q&A, I sort of talked to Joan about it, and we didn't think there was any like openly gay idols, and I think Holland was the first one. So I think that's really commendable, and especially, oh no, I think that's really commendable, and that's super brave. I'm using a contouring kit. It's super brave, and I grew up in Malaysia, so it's like a Muslim country and super conservative for the most part about like LGBT things, LGBTQ issues. So it's not really like talked about, and even if it's like talked about, it's sort of like in media especially, it's sort of like joked about like as a joke instead of like you don't really see characters in serious relationships in in the media in Asia, it's usually for like comical relief or to lighten up the mood and stuff, or like even I feel like even as a butt of the joke or like a joker. Sometimes they take the role of like sort of like jesters or comedians, and I remember growing up in Malaysia, like on media, like being sissy, like a straight man acting like a sissy, which is like the term that they use. I don't know if they still use that term. I don't know if anywhere in the world they still use that term. But growing up, definitely that was one of the terms that I heard a lot, like being a sissy, basically being more effeminate and having more like feminine energy as a boy, as a male, was thrown around a lot, and not in a good way. And I think the equivalent of like here in America would be like faggy would be the word, which even now saying it makes me like sort of shrill, like it makes me ugh. Definitely felt like when I was watching the video, the first reaction I had was like, whoa, I can't believe like this is happening. A lot of LGBT projects, I feel like, are usually like funded by smaller companies, or usually, which sucks, right? But usually they're sort of like lower budget from what I've seen. I know there was like a BL drama in China that was popular on the web for one time, and then it got taken out just because they're gay. Seeing it not being like underground and flagged and stuff makes me really, really happy. And I talked about why representation is very, very important in a couple of videos, but the one that I talked about more was my BTS my BTS in America video, and how they treated BTS while they're in America. It's not terrible, but it really made me feel like representation is really, really important. I think people don't realize how important representation is in terms of like changing the scope of the world, and how queer, gay, trans, whatever you want to call it, like non-binary, like how important representation is for people, because it is so difficult. For the longest time, like I did feel bad about myself being part of that community, being gay. I used to have a lot of self-hate growing up. I think a big part of it is, first of all, like growing up, you're not supposed to wear makeup. You're not supposed to exhibit a lot of like feminine behavior. I play with dolls. I love the color pink. I wore skirts when I was growing up, which is, I think it's cute now. But back then, I remember like my aunt, my cousins would ask me like, why are you wearing a skirt like you were a boy? But back then I just wanted to wear a skirt. Like it was comfortable, it was airy, and I had fun twirling in it. I also played with dolls. So I didn't think it was a big problem at all until I was, I think, around 4 or 5, where I was introduced to kindergarten, and because I played with dolls at home and my parents always worked, so there was like really nobody to like reprimand me to sort of not play with dolls, so I did. Sorry, I'm trying to find a brow pencil. I can't find one. So I'm gonna use my contour kit. This one's by, I don't know what this one is, but it's really like it's really nice. So I'm gonna use the darker color, just like use an angle brush and just feather in my brows. Actually, I don't remember when I went to kindergarten, to be honest, but I think it was 4, and then I wanted to play with dolls, but there was like a section of like boys' toys, and then there was a section of girls' toys. So I ended up playing with trucks, which I thought I thought it was stupid because I was like, why do I want to play with trucks? Like, I want to like dress the dolls up and curl their hair and like comb their hair, which always got tangled and like really shitty, but I still liked it. And you know, when I was at home alone, I could play with my mom's makeup and then play with I always remember going to my mom's room and like raiding all the skincare. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just like since I was young, I was conditioned to not like things that are like girly or like remotely feminine, which I think really sucked because I couldn't really fully express myself as a human being and like what I like. And it's not like I was like killing animals and like harming anything. It was just like I just like playing with dolls, and that was so wrong for that culture, Asian culture. So I grew up like not wanting to play basketball. I grew up playing piano. I did ice skating and I did swimming, but my dad really wanted me to go into basketball, and he didn't really force me into it, but he would say like things like, oh, it's gonna make you taller, so you should do it, and things like that. It's like he wanted me to go towards that, but all in all, I'm not mad at my parents at all. Like, I love my family so much because they do support me like forever, and I'm so grateful. I know they're just looking out for me, and that's the thing about it. It's like they were looking out for me because they were afraid that society would be mean to me or be terrible to me. My mom was just afraid society would be mean to me, like I wouldn't get a job or I would be late in school. And to be honest, like, I understand where they're coming from because my parents went to school in Iowa, so there's not really much Asian people, and Asian is something you can't hide. It's on my face, you know. So they probably went through more than I would go through. And the thing with being gay is like you can hide being gay, so you won't get like picked on and stuff like that. But why is that necessary? Like, why do we want to hide a part of ourselves? And because it's different. Because I felt like I did try to hide, especially when I moved to America and I went to a new college and I met new friends. I definitely felt like the need to hide how gay I was and how feminine I am. And to me now, those words are so like dated. I feel like those words like gender and sexuality, like to be defined as just you're just a gay Asian person, is so dated to me. Okay, I'm gonna move on my makeup because if I just don't do it, like I'll never finish my makeup. I'm gonna use this Beige Cosmetic palette. It's a collaboration with ITSMYRAYERAYE. It's like super gorgeous colors. I used it in my New Year's makeup, and just look at these colors right here. I like these colors, so I'm gonna go with this on the top. Wow, this is very like pigmented. I just dipped into the light color. I'm just gonna define. The thing is, like, representation matters because day by day, if you don't see yourself on media, and if you're just sort of like a token joke in the media, it starts getting to you. Like every day, you sort of feel like you're a freak or you're different or you're not good enough. And seeing yourself I think it's really important because just like the success of BTS in America, it's so important because seeing yourself out there, seeing something like that's similar to you out there, knowing that they made it too, gives a lot of people a lot of hope and gives people, especially for me, I think I'm not the most strong person in terms of creating my own path, but I want to be that strong person. And it really helps me seeing people like me on the big screen, because it just like it helps me realize that I am worth it and I am here. I'm not invisible and I am not unloved. It's just nice to be able to see yourself and being like have your talents appreciated, no matter what your sexuality or gender identity is. I think it's a great thing that Holland is the first to come. I think the debut is sweet. I think the song is sweet. I think it's a little bit tame, and I totally understand why that happened. It's because probably they want to ease in with the, you know, like the audience. And the thing with like representation is that it breaks down what society, even in the gay community or the queer community, what society wants from us or what we expect ourselves to aspire to be like. Because I know in Asia, and I'm speaking broadly, I don't want to speak for anyone, but so far what I've experienced is that they still like the sort of very hyper masculine, buff, scruff, buffy, like masculine gay person. From my personal experience, even here in LA, and I feel like from my personal experience, even if you look at like gay publications and all that stuff, like it's very much still like that hyper masculine, buff, often white type of look. And that's why representation is so important, to see an Asian gay person that's more soft and feminine on, you know, in media, because we exist also. So I think it's really great, and it really struck a chord with me when I was watching it. I was like, wow, this is kind of crazy because I've never seen this. And it's a type of feeling where when I saw it, I was like, wow, we made it. Because if it weren't for representation, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel as a gay man sitting and putting on makeup and not being like hyperly judged, because I always try to remember and try to respect the ones that came before us in order for you to be able to be put on this platform. And so like I respect people like Patrick Star because he was a Filipino man putting on makeup and sort of paved the way for other gay men in the industry to be able to put on makeup and be proud of it and not be shamed, and even like have brands, you know, like work with you and have celebrities work with you. And that's a big thing. People don't really realize, if not for the people that came before us, we wouldn't have as much luxury. And I mean queer folk. Like, if you don't remember your history, then like what are you doing? Sometimes when you're unaffected, as in like a lot of people that have like made it and are unaffected by daily traumas, as in like microaggressions or even violence or just being picked on in school, when you forget that that happened to you long time ago and you start thinking that it doesn't matter, but it matters, because I want every person and every child that grows up to be able to happily be themselves and not, like, they're not hurting anyone and they're just trying to live their best life and be happy. And I think it's time that we have more representation and more things out there, like queer, trans people on big screens, to normalize this. I hear so many stories of trans women getting killed or being targeted or being raped, and it really, really breaks my heart, because a lot of places in the world, like, gay people are still targeted. And if this can help one area or one country to think that it's more normal, or it's like acceptable, then that's great. And I think more representation is needed to break that barrier of feminine stigmatism even in the gay community itself. I don't know what I'm doing with this makeup though. Like, so far I sort of like it. If you like shows like, you know, like Fresh Off the Boat, Blackish, like shows that feature. Another show that's good is called One Day at a Time. I still like, obviously like shows like Parks and Rec and, you know, Schitt's Creek and stuff like that, but I try to support shows that feature minorities more, because if you want to continue seeing things like that, then you have to support it. And the same with your creators, same with your content, like things that you watch, music that you listen to. You need to show support. Buy their albums, watch their videos, share it. Even like YouTubers that you like to watch that stray from what the media tells you is normal. Like, share it, support it, thumbs up, I don't know, like, do it, because if you don't, there's a big chance that these creators will go away. Brands, I think it's like slowly they're sort of to like be more inclusive of, like, you know, like men in makeup or like different kinds of makeup, like drag queens and stuff, but before they really weren't. So if not for the supporters and you guys, this stuff wouldn't keep happening. And the funny thing about culture is that, like, mainstream culture always, I wouldn't want to say steal because it's a very strong word, but mainstream sorry, I get really choked up because I'm really passionate about these things, and sometimes like it really debilitates me because I feel helpless. So, like, you know, mainstream culture always steals from minority culture and makes it cool and appropriate it, and that's the same with like drag queens and black people. Like, mainstream culture always uses terms like yes, or like baking, and like all these like makeup techniques and like these slang that they use, and then it becomes mainstream, but there's like no credit to where it comes from. There's no understanding to why like these words exist, and it's just like thrown around. If you don't connect to a certain culture, I feel like there are some words that you just don't use. And that's just my personal feeling. Like, some things are sacred for people, and some relationships are sacred for people, and it's because those words were used in a lot of safe spaces for people, like when they come together, to be away from the judging mainstream world. And when it's just taken out of context and used like an accessory, that's when it really sucks. And then to not be afforded the equality, the opportunities, the jobs, and the love from the mainstream community while you're stealing from other communities really pisses me off. And I think it's time to change that. You know, if you really want to see change, you have to be the person that changes it. And it's a really difficult topic to talk about, just because I know not everybody I guess supports me on this. We have a public forum to discuss ideas and discuss things. This is sort of turning out to be like an anti-Valentine's Day makeup. It's not as like sweet anymore, but I really like this palette. This is a really cool palette to use. I'm gonna go in with this Radiant color. It's really nice. I think it's available Ulta. I'm gonna highlight the inner corner with this RIRE lip color. It's really pigmented, like a ginger pigmented color. Wow, it's so nice. It's super like shiny, like foily, and it's so inexpensive for the quality of. And if you use it straight from the tube, it's more like pigmented. Wow, look at that. Okay, I'm gonna like apply. And I know what I'm talking about when I'm doing makeup. Like, makeup is fun and all. It's really fun. Like, but I think there's like bigger things to makeup than what we think. And you know, it's all about like what people value in terms of like standards of beauty, and what people think the market of, you know, like affordability is and things like that. Like, so like when the whole Tarte Shape Tape debacle came out, a lot of people saying like chill, it's just makeup. But when you really think about it, it is makeup. It is really just makeup. But what does that say about our community if brands don't cater to darker skin tones? Does it mean that they don't exist? You know, does it mean that they think people of darker skin tones can't afford to buy it? Or, you know, so those are the things that I think about when I see brands don't represent people of color. And I'm going to use, I think brown today. Actually, I want to use red, but I don't have a red color liner. I have a brown liner, so I'm going to use a light brown in the inner corner. In the outer corner, I'm going to use a dark brown just to define everything. Highlighter on the top right here, just because I feel like it's not super blended in terms of like the pigmentation. So I'm going to use the Ray palette Radiant again and sort of just apply that on top. Next up, I want this to like super blushed. I actually cut out little like heart stickers. I'm trying to have trouble deciding where I should put the blush. And then apply a shit ton of blush. I'm going to use this Satin Blush by Essence. It's really inexpensive. And since this is a Valentine's Day look, I mean, I'm just gonna go in with the blush. I think like recently I did a video with Terry. And Terry's a straight man. And, you know, he let me put on makeup and he actually really liked it. And I was really surprised because I guess I expected, and that's from my own judgment, I expected there to be more judgment or like more like he would be afraid to put on makeup, but he actually like really embraced it and he really liked it, and I genuinely feel like he liked it, and I like that. Like I like that straight men are okay with putting on makeup, doing skincare, being like softer, like sensitive. That's what I use, like soft. Like I like it because oftentimes like men are not allowed to be soft, and with Terry I felt like he was very open to everything, and I just had a really good experience and I had a lot of fun. So I definitely enjoyed that, and I feel like I wish more men, straight men, would be like that. So around the heart, I'm just gonna darken it a little bit. And I think in terms of like going back to like Holland and what he's doing and stuff, I think it's great. I hope it really helps bring awareness to like that gay people exist and they need love too. You know, they need to be represented, to be shown that it's normal, because I know a lot of parts in Asia, I don't want to speak for Korea because I don't live there, but I know a lot of parts in Asia, being feminine is still stigmatized. Being gay is okay, like, but just like I know in a lot of parts, like just don't be like the sissy gay, the type of thing. So I really hope that changes in Asia, because there are people that are more feminine, and you know, like people losing their jobs over just their sexuality and their gender really sucks. So if we as a whole don't do anything to help it, then why are we even here? Like, what is your purpose? So I think it's really important that Holland came out. I think it's a big step, this whole K-pop community, and I hope that, you know, other artists feel comfortable enough to come out now. You know, I don't want to like say that there are definitely artists that are gay, but if there are, then I want them like to be able to feel like, oh, they can do it too. Even in my BTS video, like a lot of people said like, well, that's just the way things are. Well, that's not good enough anymore, because if things were the way they are, then like interracial marriage would still be illegal. Like that's just the way it is in a certain country. Is not good enough for us, because we need progress, and when people say like, oh, that's just, it's always been like that, like it's always just like that, I was like no. I just wish more people would sort of see that it's always been like that. It's not good enough. And if you take anything away from this video, I really want it to be like for you to know, like if you're going through something and something is not like fair or equal, I don't want you to think like, oh, it's just always gonna be like that, I can't do anything about it. We don't want that. We want it to change. We want things to be different, and the only way things will change and be different is if we do something about it, right? Okay, I'm just gonna take these off now. I hope they look cute, I don't know. Oh, it's cute, it's a heart, yay. Oh, cute. Ah, I have hearts. And I have to give credit to Jenny, Jenny Deer, she on Instagram. Because I saw her do this look a while back, I think, even last year maybe. And I was like, it's so cute, I'm gonna do it for Valentine's Day, and I'm doing it. And this is the look. Alright, so this is the finished look. You can definitely like tune it up or tune it down, up to your liking, but I think it's super cute. Yeah, it's a good Valentine's Day look. Wow, it's so cute. I'm gonna start doing this more. I really didn't know what was gonna happen when I did the stickers. I was like, it might not even look like hearts, or it might like look stupid. I think it's like super cute and super wearable. Like definitely good for pictures as well. I hope you liked it. It's very simple to do. Really, I just use like stickers. So you just cut out stickers and put it on. And you can like do honestly anything you want with the eyes. It's just like the blush for Instagram. It looks like the Snapchat filters or any kind of filters on the snow, so I really like it. In real life it looks really cute too. It looks very cozy, like I'm warm. Well, that's it, you guys. I will link the product that I used below. I didn't like show all of them just because I was busy talking, but I will link it down below. And I hope you like this tutorial. If you do it, please tag me so I can see it. And thank you for letting me vent. Thank you for listening to me vent. I hope you took something away from this video. I mean, I am still working on self-love and self-acceptance too. It's definitely easier when you have like a figure or like representation in the media, like I said, to help propel you. If you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe and thumbs up. And I think I'm gonna have a giveaway real soon too, because a lot of you guys have liked the skincare that I recommended, and I got a lot of feedback from that. So I want to do I think 2 giveaways for skincare soon, so keep that in mind. And thank you so much. I'll see you guys in my next video. Yeah, I really like this makeup. It's so cute.